Connor and I recently have kind of fallen in love with this lens, which is the TTartisan 50mm F1.2.
Yes, we've talked about it too many times at this point.
It's full manual. It's really small. Really great.
I love how you said full manual, like it's a feature. It's completely manual.
This thing is a stick shift and it has an overdrive. So we've been kind of testing it against other 50mm lenses to see if this $98 beast is more worth it than more expensive beasts. That's the Fuji 50mm F1. Fuji sent it to me for us to do some testing. Thank you, Fuji.
Now, this thing is like the king,
the mother lode,
the Jungin
goat
of 50mm.
We're gonna give you our quick thoughts on the TTartisan 50mm. It's super cheap and affordable, but not cheap as in crappy.
It's affordable.
It is also very compact, especially when you compare it to a bunch of other 50mm lenses, for example, the Fujinon 50mm F1.
It is an all-manual lens, which could be a negative or a positive depending on the person, but I really like it, especially because you can use it for video and have that nice, smooth focus ring.
Now, this lens is not vintage, but it does seem to almost have some magic vintage sauce going on. Every time we use things like the Helios, there's some special magic that seems to happen, and the TT Art lens seems to have captured just a little bit of that.
When you shoot with the TTartisan wide open, a lot of times it'll get super soft, which is normal for a lot of lenses, but it kind of has this like clouding effect around the edges of the frame where the blacks look more lifted. I don't know if I necessarily love it, but it's just something that happens when you shoot wide open. And yes, it is a $98 lens, which you might be thinking this thing's a piece of crap, but it's actually a really good build quality. It's like all metal, very solid. It feels professional, even though it's very affordable. All right, Connor, now let's give our thoughts on the Fuji 50mm F1.
It's good.
Thanks for watching.
One
One of the first things I noticed about the F1 when we went out and shot with it is it seems like the roll-off just feels a little bit more smooth. Like the out of focus part of the image, like when it goes from focus to out of focus, it's just a very smooth transition. It just has this creamy-like nature to it that I freaking love.
Now, with this $1,500 lens, you actually do get a slightly sharper image, which is a great thing because it is significantly more expensive. You would expect it to be sharp, and it is. Even at wide open, it is razor sharp.
A big difference between these two lenses is the Fuji F1 50mm has autofocus. The TTartisan, full manual, but this guy's got really good autofocus, so that's obviously a pro feature that a lot of people want. But is it worth an extra $1,400? Find out later in the video.
Oh yeah, no, maybe.
It's kind of up to how much money you have.
Oh my gosh, I'm broke. Unfortunately, the Fujinon 50mm F1 is focused by wire, or at least as far as we can tell, which means that it is extremely hard to nail critical focus, especially when you are wide open at F1.
Yeah, and if you're gonna use this lens for video, I think it's gonna be very difficult to pull focus. Like, even if you're not shooting super shallow like F1, it just feels kind of clunky using the focus ring. All right, Connor, let's talk about what we actually think about comparing a $98 lens to a $1,500 lens.
Yeah.
Is it even worth comparing?
Yeah, of course it's worth comparing because you always want to know if your money is going into like something that's worthwhile, especially when you're going to invest $1,500 into, I'm not used to holding a mic, $1,500 into a lens because let's face it, when you put that much money in, you could buy a whole set of the TT Art lenses for the price of just one of these. So I think it's a fair question. I fully intend on owning this lens one day, but it's not gonna be like, oh, the first lens I'm gonna pick up is gonna be this lens. There's a plethora of other lenses that I'm looking at getting first before I necessarily consider this lens in my current existence of camera ownership.
We'll be like 43.
Oh yeah.
I really like the TTartisan lens.
Yeah.
Like, despite the price that we've mentioned a bunch of times, like, it's a super good lens. It looks awesome, especially with the Fujifilm simulations and everything. It's still very sharp. Like, it's not as sharp as the F1 Fuji lens, but still looks really nice. It's got a little bit of that magic that we talked about. And pretty much anyone can afford it.
That is kind of the X factor. Of course, it is a manual lens, so you can consider that a downgrade. That is also why it is cheaper, though. It doesn't have a lot of those electronic components inside the lens, bringing up the price. But even still, I feel like it has a better image than a lot of other lenses in its price range, and even above it into like a couple $100. Like when we compared it to the Camlan, it did look better. So I think that's kind of like why we hold this lens so high in esteem, because it's just better than you think it ever should be.
And even when we stacked up photos, like the close-up portraits of my face hole, like right next to each other, if you're looking at them from a phone screen, they look so incredibly close. We only noticed differences really when we punched in. We were seeing like chromatic aberration more on the TTartisan from like the backlight and stuff. And then we saw more detail in the skin and stuff from the Fuji lens, but still like they're very comparable.
Yeah.
The Fuji for sure has that like next level of quality, but I don't know if it's like from $100 to $1,500 worth next quality. My message in this video would be to anybody who's maybe looking at the Fuji F1 or super expensive lenses in general, you don't necessarily need them. Especially in the earlier parts of your career. And like, I don't have any plans on buying the Fuji 50mm. I know you want it at some point, but it's cool that we can find these budget lenses on Amazon and stuff that still make kick-ass photos, really cool footage, and it's not gonna like put you in credit card debt or a bad financial position, and you can still make cool stuff with it.
However, if you are already considering getting that 50mm Fujifilm lens and you're in the financial position to get it, just know the quality is incredible, and the photos that you're gonna get are also equally as incredible. So,
all right, ladies and gents. So on October 31st of this year, Halloween 2021, we're having our first actual real-life meetup in Nashville at Cumberland Park. 1 p.m. is when it starts. We're gonna hang out, meet, greet, go do a photo walk. Got some other activities planned. But if you're interested in meeting Connor or myself, feel free to come to Nashville on Halloween and hang with us.
I can't believe you're actually doing this. This is gonna be pretty freaking awesome.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun to meet you guys and actually, you know, see some faces from the comment section and stuff. Also, feel free to check out the Discord if you want more information. People are buying flights, getting Airbnbs. So if you need some help with that, you can talk to me or other people in the Discord.
Also, be sure to like and subscribe, YouTube stuff, blah, blah, blah. You know how it works.
Yeah. But actually do it, please. All right, here's our new outro. Cheers.
Okay, bye.
Oh, look, a video that the YouTube algorithm overlords want you to watch. How convenient. Oh, and over here, that's another video. It's our most recent project that we shot, and we're pretty proud of it.
And we make content on all 3 of these channels, so click it.
I need so much I can't count. Oh, and I don't need no college, cause I'm getting stupid amounts. Hey.